I know earlier we were talking about creating like a leadership guide, leadership Bible. And one of the things that I think is true and needed is more conversations about basic leadership. What should that basic leader possess? And I think with the digital world, that's become kind of broad. But if I had anything to say about it, the basic leader should be a person that researches information, because that information is needed. So they should have those good research skills, because if they don't know and they need to get their staff more knowledgeable, having those good research skills matter. Because that basic leader or that leader might not be experienced with the way that company does business, but having that good research skill and ability and knowledge, I think that helps. That helps tremendously, having someone who has good research skills. And these are not going to be any particular order, but I think they're important. A leader that cares. And care about what? Care about themselves. That's got to be top priority. Care about yourself and your well-being before you give yourself to an organization or put yourself in a position to lead others. Care about yourself. And if you don't show anything else to anybody around you, show them that you care about you and what you represent. Care about the folks who work with you. Care about the folks who work for you. Care about the folks you work for. And I'm not saying a personal relationship, but you care about them and their well-being and their work environment. Because as a leader, you shouldn't be difficult to work with. As a leader, you should have compassion and concern and take consideration that everybody's perspective is not like yours. And it's okay not to be like yours. Care about making sure that the people around you have the best possible information that you can find. Care about having things in place where it's predictability in a person's work schedule, in a person's life. It's predictable daily. So caring that when you come to work, when you intermingle with other folks, when they go home, they're like, man, I don't even have to think about my work day unless I want to, because I did my best today. And I was appreciated. So I'm saying care, research skills. And I think the other one is flexibility. Being flexible enough to understand that yesterday was yesterday. The way things are done today are different. The way things are going to be done tomorrow will be different. But what persists and what remains the same is you caring. Is you doing the research to find out what are the new ways. It's one of the things that I think some of these basic traits, and I'm gonna name a few more, but some of these basic skills and traits are, they're bombarded with a whole lot of ways to do it. It's a whole lot of ways to care. It's a whole lot of ways to research. It's a whole lot of ways to be flexible. But let's talk about flexibility. And I think it was in one of the conversations I had earlier with Melvin when we talked about pressure leadership, structured leadership, and likership, right? Because these are critical dynamics in dealing with anybody, a human, or teams. It's critical to understand that having the flexibility to look at it from a different perspective, having the flexibility to understand everybody is different, have the flexibility to understand everybody came from different walks of life. I'm going down a mountain right now. Woo, boy, my ears are tight. But having that flexibility to understand, hey, if we do this together in the same energy going in the same direction, the outcome probably would be pretty successful. I think the fight or the issues or the struggles comes in when that change management, nobody wants to change, and the flexibility isn't there. So flexibility, man. Think about a job that you had or a project that you were taking, and it just didn't go like you thought it would. But you had the flexibility to adjust to the situation, which made a better outcome. I can remember when, here's a story. I was in high school. Mom had a car. I think it was a Buick Skylark, and it was leaking oil. I took the tools and I said, I know how to do this. I got the basic research skills. I can look at it and I can kind of go a little bit forward and figure it out. And if I can't figure it out at that time, I can go back and just put it back together. I'm quite sure most of us have went through that process. So I took the whole head cover gasket off, cleaned it up, put a new one on. Man, I did it. But what I didn't know is that every bolt that went back in there needed to be torqued to a certain pressure point. Didn't know that. I had no clue. But I had the mental research and the flexibility to go ask somebody that knew it, that knew how to get that done. And man, they fixed it and it stopped leaking, and the car actually stopped smoking as well. So just having that flexibility is a critical dynamic in every good leader. It's a basic thing to have. So we say caring, flexibility, and research skills. Now, if I just had to have a fourth, I would say trusting the process that you're going through and understanding that have faith in yourself to know that if I just keep applying these three things, the fourth one of trusting the process, it should work. It should come through. And trusting the process incorporates a few things. For one, patience. For two, rolling your sleeves up. Roll your sleeves up and get it done. Jump in there with both feet and get that research done. And that process should work. And one good thing is the flexibility to understanding that you might not have that answer now. So you adjust. And I think in the industry today, they call it fail and fail often. As soon as possible, fail often. That way you have the opportunity to get it right. And when you have those teams around you that understand this structured leadership style, and they usually help get this done because they'll have the bright idea sessions. And that's what I like to call them, bright idea sessions. And that's something that we'll talk about later in this guide. Bright idea sessions are a critical part of a team's success. Why? Because everybody has a voice and everybody has ideas and everybody is creative in their own way to a process, to a thing, to a issue or something that's good going on how to improve it or how it would better help everybody and also help the customers as they get the products and services from the organization. Yeah, so I said trusting that process, man, it can be frustrating sometimes because it just seems sometimes that it's not going to come through, or it could be where it seems that everybody on the team is just not getting it. And that's where that structured leadership come into place, to where you have trained hands-on to get that clear understanding in that person's way. My ears are popping. You hear me say, that's what that is. I'm trying to clear them out. So think about that the next time that you walk in the office with your amazing team, your amazing bosses, or even if they're not as amazing as they can be. Remember, you trust your process. And think about these 4 key basic leadership traits or leadership skills that every leader should have. And trust your process. Get in there, research it, care about folks, be flexible. And I feel, and based on my experience as well, that trusting that process usually comes out with a way to implement certain things that are good for the entire team, you know, but also good for you becoming that better leader that you are. So trust that process every day. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Hey, the Wright Improvement Group, TWIG, we're always looking out for you. And stay tuned for the next part of this leadership masterclass. Thank you.